We were reported to the police. Dun, dun, dun. Hello, it's me. I am having to come to you from a still video because I am having some serious technical issues. I'm going to have to pause the vlogs until I get home. Somebody very, very kindly put a virus on my laptop. And no, I was not watching any dodgy sites before you say that. I've just seen this has happened to some other YouTubers as well, so they're obviously doing the rounds. I get loads of brand emails every week, you know, offering to collab, whatever. And I got one from a very well-known brand that I already use them. So for me, I will only promote something that I actually use myself. And I already use this software. So I went through the procedure and it led you right to the website, but they had obviously put a cover over it and they put a virus on my laptop from it. My brand new laptop that I just got before coming out here. And what that did, my software caught it and quarantined it, but the malware had already run through and it has damaged both software and hardware. I used to work in IT, so I've done everything that I can to sort the software issues, reinstalled the operating system, everything like that. But the fans have broken and the ports no longer work, so I can't plug in my footage from my GoPro, and editing has become pretty much impossible because the fans won't work, and editing software uses a lot of memory and it gets hot, and it's basically thermal throttling, which means I can do maybe 30, 60 seconds max of editing, and then it will freeze for 30 seconds while the CPU goes up to 3000% usage and it gets too hot, and then it calms down, and then I can maybe do another 30 seconds before it freezes again. It's become rather impossible to edit the vlogs. So this happened when I was in Valencia at Christmas. I've been doing the best I can to get them out since then, but it's taken me 3 or 4 days to do an edit because of this. It's just taking so long. And what that has meant is I'm then spending 3 or 4 days a week in the van, not going out and doing stuff, not enjoying myself, wanting to pull my hair out because it's so frustrating trying to edit like that. Normally it takes me a day. I will sit down and I will just sit for 12 hours and I will bang out an edit. So it got to the point where it was actually really taken away from my experience over here. And I spoke to my Patreon members and I just decided, like, I'm going to have to put them on hold until I get back. I'm still filming them. I'm filming on my phone because I haven't been able to use my GoPro because I can't get the footage because the ports of the laptop won't work. So I can't transfer it on. I can't even send footage from my phone to my laptop. The airdrop won't work. So I've had to create a Dropbox account to upload all the footage onto there, then download it onto my laptop, which then means I need internet to work. And if you followed along, you know me, I like being in the wilderness where there's not usually internet. So it basically, I tried it for maybe 5 or 6 weeks, and it's honestly, I've just got to the point where I was like, I can't do this. It is taken away from my time here. So yeah, as I said, spoke to my Patreon members and they were just obviously incredibly supportive and said, just put them on hold, enjoy your time there and edit them when you get back. So I'm updating you guys. There's going to be a few chit chat videos like this. I've got stories to tell of the stuff that has happened off camera because obviously all the best stuff happens when you're not filming. And I will give you some sort of chatty updates. I do want to put a video out about the cat because we've been having there's several issues with the cat of traveling, and I know that I can help other people if they're thinking about bringing their cat about. I wish I'd kind of known this information before I came out here, kind of thing. So I'm going to just do a few. These are called talking head videos. I'm going to do a few of those because these are much easier to edit in the meantime until I get back to England and I can sort out my laptop and get it fixed, and then we can get edits out again. So yeah, bit of an apology. This is what's going on. Everything seems to be breaking and going wrong. And I just was like, no, I can't do this anymore. I want to actually enjoy my time here, which I have. So the last week I have spent with 5 vans, 12 people, 3 kids, 4 dogs and a cat. And we've all been together and we've moved in convoy and stuff. It has been so nice. So all the vlogs will come out eventually. You will see what I've been doing, but they'll probably be in the next month or so. So in the meantime, we're going to have some chit chats, and I'm going to explain some things that have happened. The first one basically is that we were reported to the police. Dun, dun, dun. We were parked at a place called Campus Sol. The first time this happened, there was 3 of us. So I met those English people for Christmas, didn't I, in Valencia? 2 vans, a couple and a guy on his own, Nikki and Kev and Steve. And we had Christmas together, and then we moved off to Denia together, and then they carried on and I stayed. And basically I've stayed roughly in this area of Spain. They've gone all the way down to Tarifa and come all the way back. So I got a call from Steve. I was up in the mountains and he was like, oh, we're back up north, where are you? So I had a look where they were, and I was basically an hour and 50 minutes away from them. So I was like, right, I'm on my way, because they're really nice, you know, I wanted to spend some more time with them. So I drove down to a place called Camposol, which is near Cartagena, and I met them there it was essentially just a gravel car park, near some shops, near some restaurants, near some bars, things like that, in a good location, quite close to a town, on the edge of a town. So there was the car park here, and then the extended car park, which had like bushes and stuff in, so it looked a bit more like wild, if you like. So we were parked on this end bit, and I'd just been to the shop to get some stuff. So I was in the van, like sorting out all the bits I was doing some filming. And I just heard somebody came up to the door and they were like, did you just hear that? And I was like, no, what's happened? And they were telling me that these 2 women had turned up and started yelling at them, said they were going to report them to the police, took photographs of their vans, and were basically like, where do you put all of your shit? I mean, I presume she didn't mean literal shit. I presume it was like rubbish and stuff. And there are bins everywhere in Spain, you know. But she obviously had a bee in a bonnet about something. So she's there yelling at them. I didn't hear all of this, but you do see the aftermath on the film, on the vlog, when I put that out. And I was like, all right, okay. So we had chairs out at this point, which you are technically not allowed to do in Spain. It's weird. They set up areas for camping and you're allowed to park your vans. But if you do anything that resembles camping, e.g. getting your chairs out or your solar panels and things like that, they can fine you up to £200. And this day was a very, very warm day. So the other 2 vans had got chairs out. I was about to get mine out, but then this happened. So she's yelling at them, taking photographs, saying she's going to report you to the police, and screaming obscenities at them, calling us names, and yeah, getting quite irate apparently. So I just see the aftermath of this and I'm like, oh, whatever, like, you know. Anyway, the other 2 vans put their chairs away. I got my yoga mat out and a big cushion, and I sat outside anyway, because I was like, it's too hot to stay in the vans. I'm sitting outside. If the police come, we've got a good visual. We can put these things inside before they get to us. But surprise, surprise, nobody turned up. The police didn't turn up. Nothing happened. It was fine. The next day, although from this, the guys then decided to move from the wasteland because it looked very much like you were camping, and then we moved 50 metres into the car park bit. Fine, no different. It makes no difference to me. So we moved a tiny bit. Nothing happened the next day, but then the following day was a Sunday, and I was out outside my van. Again, beautiful sunny day. I was doing my morning stretching yoga routine, and this car pulls up. Same lady gets out, and she just screams at me. Nobody else is out of the vans at this point. It's just me. She just screams, "Freeloader!" at me. So I burst out laughing. I'm still doing my yoga, and I just start laughing. I don't stop what I'm doing, because I'm very aware that people like this, first of all, are incredibly miserable and don't like themselves, because happy people don't go around behaving this way. But also, they want a fight. So you don't rise to them, because that's what they want. Like, she'd come out on a Sunday morning specifically to drive down to yell at us. So I carry on doing what I'm doing. And then she goes, "I'm reporting you to the police." So I just said, "All right, love," like still doing my yoga like this. I just was like, "All right, love." Didn't look at her. And you can see her glitching because she's not getting under my skin. So I'm just laughing to myself, honestly. And she stood there, and you can see her looking around like, well, what do I do now? She's not reacting. And then she gets back in a car and goes to drive off. So this is her morning She's literally done this on purpose to come down, which is how sad. Anyway, so then she leans out the window, she drives off. I pay for my facilities. And I was like, okay, more for you, love, more for you. So she came literally just to yell at us and drive off. Like, how pathetic. But the most incredible part of it is she wasn't Spanish. It wasn't a local. She was an English woman. How entitled do you have to be to think that you can tell people that they're not allowed to park on a car park? She's not even, like, it's not her land. She's not even from the land. You know, she's not even Spanish. Fair enough if it was a Spanish house overlooking and we were making a mess or whatever. But, you know, incredible. So I don't know if she thought we were dumping stuff or causing litter or whatever. You know, I'm very much of the opinion of you leave it how you found it, leave no trace. So is everybody else I've met. I have seen other behaviour where people have perhaps not been very nice to the environment or whatever, and I understand why. Since being here, I now understand why people don't like vans, because I have seen some appalling behaviour from other people. But everybody that I know that I've met is very conscious of not leaving any litter, you know, I actually litter pick most places where I go, so do people I know, you know, things like that. So yeah, she came and yelled at us, just absolutely astounded, like, that she's English. Like, what's going on in your head that you think that you have the right to tell somebody else how to live? And she's like, I pay for my facilities. And I'm like, yeah, well, good for you. That's your fault if you haven't found a way to get out of it. So yeah, that was something that happened at Campusol. Hilarious. Then we spent the next week with 5 vans. We have had so much fun together. It's really nice. So I've met some proper van friends. A couple of them do YouTube as well. So I've actually met some people that know what I'm talking about when I talk about my profession. My friends and family are very supportive, but most of the time they just look at me like, I've got no idea what you're talking about, Beck. And I'm like, okay, no problem. So that was really nice as well. The vlogs will come out and you'll see all of this as it comes out. But for the moment, we're just going to do some chit chat conversations and I'll let you in on what's been happening. So from there, we moved north a bit because there's another storm coming. We actually got a warning on our phones to say, from the government, literally to say there's winds of 140 kilometres coming. We went north to the lake where I stayed for 3 weeks. So all 5 of us vans turned up there. We stayed there for a couple of days and then we've split. So I've come north with Nikki and Kevin Steve, who we met at Christmas, because we've got to come back to England soon, whereas the rest of them don't have to be back until like April, May, something like that. So they've gone further south. So we've come up here and we basically have been, I don't want to say stuck on this beach, but stuck on this beach. Oh no, poor me. For 3 or 4 days while we're waiting for the winds to pass. We drove here a couple of days ago, 3 days ago, and the wind started to pick up, and that was one of the scariest drives I've ever done in my life, even scarier than going over the Pyrenees. The winds were hitting the van side on and it was like jolting you. It was so strong and they were jolting you off the road. It was a really scary drive to get here, but we are here and I'll see if I can show you. It's a beautiful spot. Let's see if we can focus. There you go. So the sea, where are we? The sea is literally there. It's about, I don't know, 20, 30 paces to the beach. It's absolutely beautiful, but we haven't really been able to enjoy it because the winds are so bad. So we've sort of been hiding. It's sunny, don't get me wrong, it's nice, but we have been hiding in the vans for the last few days away from this storm. It's not exactly sit outside weather, and we're just hunkering down, and then tomorrow we're going to have to move north and that will start my travels back to England. I have got 3 hours driving a day for 6 days, and then that will get me back up to where I'm getting the ferry from, and then I've got to come over to England, which it's very bittersweet, I must say. I am in some ways very much excited about coming back and looking forward to seeing, you know, my friends and my family. I've really missed them, and certain things like I'm going to get fish and chips and have a bath. There's things that I'm really looking forward to coming back to, but also I am aware that it has rained every day this year in the UK. I think like 12 degrees, 13 degrees is cold after being here for 3 months. I don't know how I'm going to handle like 5 degrees back in England. So yeah, bittersweet, but it is what it is. I have learnt a lot. I have definitely grown as a person. My confidence has skyrocketed through the roof, and I've really, really, really enjoyed myself on the whole. There have been some challenging moments, some wobbly moments, but the last few weeks with meeting these people, traveling with other people, makes all the difference. It is so much more fun than being on your own. And it's taken me to come to Spain to meet van life friends. I did nearly 2 years in England and didn't meet anybody really, nobody that lived full time in the van that I could spend some time with. And then I've come to Spain and I have met people from Sweden and Finland, and I've got contacts there, and then loads of British people, and I now have points all over England that I can go stay. And I met a couple from Devon that were really into the Formula One, so we got chatting with them. And then I've got people in Great Yarmouth, and the other guys that I met, they're coming back. They're going to do Scotland when they get back, maybe. So maybe I can like tag along with them for a bit and explore that. And yeah, I have found the benefits of going along with friends. It is so wonderful. I have been the most social I have been in nearly a decade, and I've actually really enjoyed it as well. I'm coming out of the wanting to be on my own all the time phase. I now have learned that I really enjoy being social again. So yeah, I've had a great time. I'm sad to leave because of the weather, but I'm also very excited to come back to England. It has given me a new appreciation for my motherland, as long as it doesn't rain all the time. But at least we've got spring coming, and spring never disappoints, does it? So, okay, that's it. Enough of me chit-chatting. Little story for you. I will put out some videos in the meantime, and the vlogs will resume in about a month. So thanks for your patience. Not much I can do about it. I'm doing the best I can as a workaround, and we will get all the vlogs out when I get back. They might just be a little bit behind schedule. So that's it. Hope everybody's well. Lots of love, and I will catch you soon. Peace out and stay wild.